My name is Darnell Aponte from South Florida. I'm here in Atlanta for the KWYP chapter relaunch. And what we're doing today is, of course, networking, sharing knowledge and learning. But I'm most excited about actually sharing some of my referral partner tips as well. And I'd love to see everyone implement them and grow. And I'm also really excited to see a lot of my old friends and make new friends today as well.
What would you say is one takeaway item for someone who's just getting started? Obviously, you have to network to meet the agents, but what is something that you look for in a great referral partner that will help them make those connections?
For me, on the commercial side, something I like to know is how they want to qualify the lead. They want to know what they need to know to make it worth back and forth. They like to know, hey, what questions should I ask? What does reasonable look like? And then most importantly, what does a referral fee look like? They like to go through the referral agreement and be able to know what the communication is going to look like, and that's something I build into all mine, because that way I like to reciprocate it. So I'm not bothering you and your business with my referrals, but vice versa as well.
I find my referral partners primarily through our command system. If you go into the referral partner section in your command system, you can see trends. Has anybody ever seen that section in command?
Yes.
So I like to see where people are moving from, and I like to connect with agents that are located in those cities and in those states. And I just call them, talk to them, find out what they're looking for in a referral partner, make sure that I'm telling them a little bit about my business, my history, the way that I conduct referrals. I tell them not to expect a play-by-play on every single thing throughout the transaction, that we will be following up, they will be on a nurture, but just like with any referral source, they do take time to convert. You do have a higher conversion rate because it's already a warm lead, but just like any referral source, sometimes those people aren't approved right away, or especially in my market, we do have primary homes, of course, but a lot of our market is second homes and investment properties. So it takes time for some of those people to get off the fence and convert. It may take 4 or 5 years for them to convert, but eventually they will, and you just need to keep them in the loop the entire time to make sure that you're nurturing those relationships.
So for me, a lot of my original referral partners came from this particular group, young professionals. So obviously traveling to Mega Camp, family reunion, launches, the summit, of course, that's the best opportunity to meet other YP members. And I originally started by looking for other people that were new as well. You know, a lot of times the people that have been in for a couple of years already have relationships, not that they're always set in stone, things change all the time, but I was just looking for people that have been in the business a similar amount of time as me, and the people that are also hungry and looking to grow. So that's how I identified who my referral partners would be. And then of course, you still have to interview them just like you do anyone else, you know, see how knowledgeable they are and see how you can help them grow as well. And then those end up turning out to be the best referral partners, people that you can grow with.
Now, I'm sure no one's going to admit it, but there's some people in here that suffer from self-doubt. They don't believe that you all would select them as a referral partner. Why would you select them over somebody who's done 200 transactions a year for the past 5 years? What do you recommend for somebody who's in that situation? How do they become more confident?
I mean, I think confidence comes from knowledge, like having knowledge. So I look for people that are constantly going to trainings and classes and looking to better themselves. Those are usually how I select my referral partners. I don't look at like, wow, this person sold 80 units, you know, I want them to be my referral partner. Honestly, sometimes if you sold too many units, I don't want you to be my referral partner because I feel like people are going to fall through the cracks if I send them your way. So I just look at their operations in general as a whole. And basically to answer your question, to get more confidence, it just comes from just knowing more, I believe, and learning more. Once you know what you're doing, then I think you're going to have the confidence to help the client out.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. My very first listing that I ever took was an agent referral. So just because you're new doesn't mean that somebody won't give you that opportunity, because I can speak firsthand from that experience. And that listing that I actually took, with it being an agent referral, ended up generating in my career through buyers from that listing and then future listings from that one and referrals from that client. Ended up grossing over the past 4 years over $100,000 in gross commission income, and my first investment property. I went on a listing appointment with their mother And just like Brian was talking about a little bit ago, whenever you got a listing appointment, you need to decide, am I a buyer for this property? And that ended up being my first investment property. So the relationships that you're building, the person that's sitting next to you right now could very well be an investment for the rest of your career, not just for one referral opportunity.
For me on the commercial side, when in tandem with what Brian was saying, with the inside track, obviously fiduciary and everything on investing, but in commercial, we do have the opportunity to roll our fee in on deals with clients if we choose to do so. That's your own decision, your own risk to take. Darnell was saying with, if you do too much production, I like to know people who are actually going to take the time and effort into the client relationship, because I do not have residential referrals very often. Most of the people I work with are high net worth, they have their people for it, and I know not to touch that relationship. So whenever I do have that opportunity, I need to know it's somebody who's going to put the work in.
So definitely something to add is that if anyone has ever read our NAR Realtor Code of Ethics, I mean, we need to be competent in anything that we're doing. So that's number one. Commercial people do not hesitate to sue you. They have attorneys. So you mess up, they're coming after you. So don't think that just because there's an extra comma or an extra zero in the deal that you can try to do it yourself. Just hopefully find an agent that's willing to partner with you, but if not, refer it out and start by taking all the classes that your board has. I guarantee you your local board has lots of commercial classes. And also, like Brendan said, join KW Commercial. Nucleus was a great program. There's lots of resources there, but absolutely don't try to take it on yourself. It's not worth it to learn at the expense of your clients. You're gonna get in trouble. It's not worth it. Don't just think about the payday. Think about servicing your client properly. And if you really want to learn commercial, start before you have a client, not when you have a client.
I worked on all kinds of different property types, but commercial is not as simple as commercial, like residential, it's like 1 to 4 units. We have all types of different product types. I worked them all. I did not know everything about all of them. And the hard part to keep in mind is I'm still asking for help and education today, because I know I don't know certain things in that aspect, and it's gonna come back tenfold once it comes around. Especially our E&O doesn't always cover our price points sometimes. Ask me how I know that one.
All right, Carly, this one's gonna be geared towards you. So in someone who is in let's call it a second home, vacation home market, what is something that everyone in the room can do to help figure out how can I help my clients even consider that? Everyone in this room's got a past client who probably bought their home a while ago, or at minimum refinanced and has a ton of equity. So going to this new market, people can look at cashing out some of that equity to buy an investment property. Are you seeing in your area a lot of investment or vacation rentals?
Oh yeah, very much so. We cover 10 different beaches on the southeast corner of North Carolina. And people don't realize how big the shoreline of North Carolina is. It's about a 7-hour time span, and so it's impossible for anybody to cover that entire territory. But we have a lot of, especially real estate agents. I've helped bold coaches, real estate agents with KW, and so whenever you're making these connections, don't discount the opportunities for them to do business with you too, not just referral opportunities. You can educate them on your market and let them know what investment opportunities you have. I'm sure there's lots of investment opportunities here in Atlanta. But at the North Carolina coast, we're big on short-term rentals on beach properties. We have great long-term rentals. We are really close to Camp Lejeune in Jacksonville, so a lot of long-term rental properties there. I have a listing right now. It's an oceanfront condo, the big resort style, for $350,000.
Nice. And Mr. South Florida, we know that you probably have some vacation homes. So
Yeah, there's probably every week I get at least 2 or 3 referrals that are like, hey, Darnell, I just spent the weekend in Miami Beach and I would love to buy a condo to Airbnb. Do you have anything for $300,000? Unfortunately, we don't.
I do though.
Not so
anybody in the room with condos?
definitely you call Carly for that. She'll take care of you. But it just comes with educating people and figuring out what they're looking to do. Like yesterday, I received a referral from an agent. It was her nephew. And same story. Like, hey, I spent a couple times a year in Miami Beach, so let me buy an investment property. But then I go through the process. I'm like, well, how many days a year do you actually spend here? Does it make sense for you to buy a condo with these restrictions? So I just like to ask lots of questions to figure out what their needs are, and then I can make suggestions. So like, this person, condo's probably not the best for them. If you want an investment property, I can find you something that has a far better return than this condo with lots of restrictions, and it's better off for you to stay in a hotel for the 10 to 14 days a year that you're going to be here and use the rental property I sold you to help cover those expenses. But we're a huge second home market, vacation home market as well.
Awesome. So now we wanted to give everyone in the audience, a couple questions. Does anybody have one they want to ask? Mikey.
Can we do Mikey last?
Absolutely. Mikey goes on pause. Miss Becca Lutz.
So you guys talked a lot about, vetting people and this and that. What do you do that's special as a referral partner? Do you have a system like in process that you do when you're in a relationship with someone already? You've gotten into business with them, and how do you stay connected and stay top of mind and stay, in their world?
For me, I like to make all of my partners aware of opportunities in their market. So anytime I see something, especially in any of the groups, I make sure to tag and text and email everybody. Some of you are in this room, so you get those messages.
It's a sesame seed.
And then I also have a newsletter that I just recently started. So once a month, I'm sending out like a book I'm reading and what I got out of that particular book. Like I'm not really sending like local stats or like you guys don't care about that I'm hosting an open house this weekend in a state you're not in. So I try to stay away from fluff emails and stuff like that. So just come from contribution. How can I add value? What was the rest of the question, Becca?
System.
What do you have a system?
Yeah, I have a CRM. Everyone's tagged in my CRM. You can use whatever CRM you want as long as you're actually using it and tagging it, tagging the people appropriately, then it'll work for you. So emails, texts, however you wish to communicate with them. Something I do in small groups at normally the big events that we go to is I'll have like a dinner or two or some type of event where I invite like usually some of my closest referral partners too, just to stay in relationship with them. And I'm starting to send out twice a year these goodie boxes with fun stuff inside, like some seasonings that some of you guys could use.
I got one of those.
If y'all don't know, Darnell's the best cook in probably the city right now.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, okay, let's take Nobu out. Not everyone's going to Nobu for dinner.
Same thing. We send out agent newsletters every single month, and just being consistent with the events that you're going to, making sure that you're top of mind, sending out text messages, just talking to people every time you go to these events. So I've gone to the Nashville KWYP Summit. I've gone to the Savannah event. Every time you go to family reunion, just being consistent. And going back to the question that you said earlier, about new agents and starting out and how to tap into the referral world, is that whenever you start getting some sales under your belt and making some money, what are you doing with that money? It's an interesting experience for some people that start to make good money in commission sales and you don't reinvest it back into your business. Be intentional about your agent referrals. Are you taking some of that money and spending it on family reunion, mega camp, going out of town to things like this? I've attended multiple chapter launches and YP events outside of my area for referral opportunities, and not just referral opportunities, but just genuinely connecting and networking and being genuine with your peers.
For me, we have a pretty cut and dry system. It's very simple. We'll reach out. If I haven't done a deal with you before, we'll have a conversation. That's how I got connected with Taylor all the last year. And we ended up talking, and she ended up having a referral a couple months later. Where the system is we'll have an introduction conversation, and then if you choose to join me, we'll do the initial conversation with the lead. And that's when I'll qualify them. I like to do that with my referral partners because most people do not know what qualifying a commercial lead looks like. And I like to share that with y'all. However, that's where the last involvement kind of ends, where tours and whatnot. We don't go past that. But it shows you how and it lets the client feel like it's not like, oh, hey, go bother Brendan. I'm not in it anymore, but I'm getting paid. It's like, here's the handoff. It shows the warmth in it for me. And it also kind of helps make it easier if I'm missing something, y'all can guide me back in.
Beautiful. All right, we have one more over here.
Can't forget
Hi,
Mikey.
I'm Lindsay from Charlotte. So in the spirit of family reunion next month and meeting a whole bunch of people, what do you all do to connect with someone in a short time span? I know I've seen people give things away. If you all do that, or how do you connect with people in the time span of family reunion?
For me, it's very quick. That's why I tend not to waste time. Anyone who's met me first time, I'm very into it. I'm blunt, direct. I like to make the connection and actually be genuine. I don't bring anything with me to family reunions but my phone number, and I shake hands. I follow up with people afterwards. That's the part that helps. Also, being commercial and KBYP, that kind of sticks with people. So.
Attending all the events, of course. I try to get as many business cards as I can. It's really funny. I always laugh whenever I say this, but everybody drops their business cards all over the floor of the convention center. So if you ever see me and I'm like picking up business cards like a crazy person, they're all coming back home with me, and everybody's going into my database, whether I met them or not. Then they're getting my newsletters monthly. I'm reaching out to them, saying, hey, it was great to connect, even if they remember me or not.
I like to take the social route and go to the social events and just get to know people in those environments better. I feel like you get to build better relationships that way versus like just walking through the convention center and just like being in a rush to go somewhere. So like at the happy hours or anything social, people are like more relaxed and more open to talking, and they're oftentimes with their friends, and obviously you have friends too. They're going to introduce you to other groups of people. Like Jossie said at the beginning, like don't be clicked up, but sometimes like those are the people that introduce you to other groups of people as well. So just remember that. Don't stay with the people that you know already. Just be open to meeting other people.
All right, Mikey, I know you had one.
Mikey probably has more than one.
All right, is it safe for work?
It's literally where your hoodie thing might
What's the largest check you guys have sent out to somebody who sent you a referral?
Last year was just under $30,000. Yeah, and I'm working on one right now that'll probably be equivalent, maybe a little bit more, 30-something thousand.
And that's a referral.
Yeah, that's their portion.
That's their commercial, other person got.
Yeah, I mean, so if I'm selling them 30,000, I made at least 70 to 90. One transaction. It's beautiful. I could. It wasn't nice. We'll speak on break, sir.
Mine's 12,000, and I sent out a 7,000 one yesterday.
My largest referral check was for $33,000 from a referral agent in Florida for a 48-unit multifamily property.
But my question, I've serviced referrals before on both sides, and we deal with a range of personalities, I'll say, when referring out clients, and it's something where it is that handoff. Non-politically correct, how do you communicate, hey, this person may be a little bit crazy, or politically correct, this person may be a little bit more high touch? How do you communicate that just within that handoff?
I'll talk to you later. I really got to think about this one. You asked a good one. It's a tough one. Typically, when I'm going through the qualification process, their motivation and the efforts they've already made going up to that show me how much thought they put into, how much, real building they've done with their business. And it kind of will indicate to me like, hey, maybe they're not ready, or the personality would say will show up before we even get to signing the agreement together.
I'm gonna look towards this side of the room because I'm not gonna look at Bree. But she referred me to somebody that landed me with an interview with the FBI.
I'm pretty sure it's the same guy I had for my first listing appointment.
Did I mention he was a North Carolina state trooper that committed the fraud? Story for a different day. What?
Tonight, coming out.
To be fair, I referred the listing, and it was the buyer that went cuckoo.
Yeah.
I think if you have to, qualify it, it's kind of explain the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. But I did receive a referral recently, and it was from a real estate agent somewhere up north, and the client wanted to come down, look at properties over a 2-hour radius, wanted to see 30 different properties, had not put their house on the market yet, had not been pre-approved yet, refused to talk to a lender to be pre-approved before we went to see properties, and wanted to take up 3 days of an entire weekend. Yeah, that was my answer. And so I called that agent back and I was like, look, this is a scenario I'm sure that you would understand, because that's the good thing about people, like the agents that are referring these people to us, rather than a past client or somebody from your sphere, because they wouldn't necessarily understand. But whenever you talk to this person, agent to agent, and say, look, here's the scenario, I'm sure you would make the same decision. It sounds like I'm not a good fit. You will find an agent in my town that will do this for this client, but it's just not gonna be me, and hopefully you'll respect that.
To answer the original question, I have no problem telling my referral partners, like, hey, this person is batshit crazy. This is how you have to deal with them. They're gonna expect you to be very responsive, or, they're really hands off, like you don't need to communicate too much. And same thing when I receive referrals, I usually ask, like, how does this person like to be communicated with? Like, do they want to be updated with everything? Do they just want to know major things? Like, how do I win with this person? So I just always ask for transparency, and I provide transparency as well. And it's pretty simple to be straightforward and direct. And I just want to make a mention, you said you were like a secret agent?
No, I'm not a secret agent. I'm very vocal about it.
Not now that he's with KW.
Well, I think just like you have your Venmo QR code, you should have like an agent QR code right next to that too.
Or just a Linktree QR code.
Yeah.
Get it all done in one.
Yeah, I will. We'll connect.
That'd be helpful.
I appreciate it.
To wrap up this panel, from each of you, we would love to hear your best piece of advice for an agent that is looking to build their agent-to-agent referral network.
I love this one. I feel like a lot of people sleep on these two particular people in their market center, or three, as I like to get to know the MCAs, the productivity coaches, and the team leaders. Like, those are the people that have interactions with all the agents, especially the newer agents. So oftentimes when those people are looking for a referral partner, especially if they're like new to our ecosystem, like they don't know about the groups and they haven't gone to the conferences and whatnot. So they'll ask like, hey, I need someone in such and such, and the team leader, PC coach, or the MCA is gonna know exactly who it is. So those are people that I like to create relationships with also, because they are the center of influence of their particular market center, their world. So just don't forget to interact with those people as well. Just because they're not agents doesn't mean you shouldn't get to know them.
Social media is your friend, and it's relatively free, and that's how I started building my referral business from scratch. Facebook limits you on 5,000 friends on Facebook, and the majority of your friends on Facebook need to be real estate agents in other areas. So if you're in MAPS, you need to make friends in the MAPS Facebook groups. If you're in KW Luxury, KWYP, just make sure that you're connecting with those people, even if you have never met them yet. I met multiple people at dinner last night that we had met through social media. I felt like I had known them for years, and we were friends that just were reconnecting, but I had never met them face to face. So it starts on social media. Get your Facebook friends to as 5,000 as quickly as possible, and make sure the majority of those are real estate agents. And whenever you do add them, make a connection, schedule a call, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes. Just say, hey, I'd love to learn about your business. I'd love to tell you about mine in case you have any opportunities, because even if those people don't have direct referrals for you, a lot of times, I'm sure you guys have a Facebook group here, most Keller Williams offices do. A lot of times somebody will post in there and say, hey, I'm looking for an agent in Wilmington, North Carolina. Who do you know? And then they can always pass along your contact information and help you indirectly for referral opportunities, and even if they don't have one directly for you.
The one that I found that you can start doing immediately right now is whenever you go on Facebook or any social media and you see, hey, I'm looking for a realtor in X, and someone tags you and you're like, hey, call me, DM me, why add a level of effort for them to give you money? I always drop my email, my phone number. I say call whenever you can, or shoot me a text. My favorite part about that is I've only had to do it once or twice, because now everyone copies and pastes it and drops it around for me. Because I get commercial, I'm a broken record. For the other thing is just asking for the lead, asking for it. The worst they can say is, no, I don't have anything. But putting yourself out there is going to give you a better result versus internalizing and saying, I'm not ready. Maybe get my database a little cleaner. Maybe work on my CRM, my signage. Doing the work is what's going to get you the results faster, and asking for the business.